Just going to say a few words here about organizational design for DevOps, hand it back to Dominica to give some logistics, and then we'll get started. So our group was focused on how do you structure an organization for DevOps, as Mark mentioned as part of the main keynotes. We came up with 4 basic models, and I'm just going to run through them very quickly and then talk about for just a minute how some may help you in some areas but not others. So the 4 models that we came up with, traditional functional silos. This is the organization that we all know and love, and some of us love to hate. Second model is matrix, and I'll say a couple more words about each of these. So second model is a matrix model. Third is a product model. And the fourth is kind of wacky. We called it the Model X adaptive model, sort of thinking ahead to the future generation of organizations that are maybe just beginning to emerge today. So, traditional Model 1 functional silos. Everybody is in their box. This is really good for things like economies of scale. This is the model from whence DevOps emerged. You could maybe say this is the problem that DevOps is trying to solve. Can you do DevOps within this model? It's for you guys to discuss and figure out. But definitely lots of challenges here. Many organizations that have been in this role and are trying to take a DevOps journey, start with this matrix model. You still have people in their functional silos reporting to a functional manager. You still have a CIO person at the top, but you begin to let people borrow your teams, right? You have a project and you get somebody from dev, somebody from QA, maybe an ops person, and they work together in a matrix model, but you're still fundamentally within a silo. If you look, who is your boss? Where do you spend a lot of your time? Oftentimes in this model, when a project is completed, people get scattered to the winds. You often hear about shared services models, and this is very similar. There's where an organization is doing this, and they're like, you know what, it doesn't really work. Every 6 months the project's done and everybody gets reconfigured. We want a little bit more consistency from project to project, but we still like this matrix model. Maybe you put a little bit more emphasis on the projects and the programs, and maybe the teams will stay together for maybe a year, maybe 2 years, maybe more. They are still formally within functional silos, but the existence of these silos here becomes a little less apparent unless you're looking at a budget sheet or something like that. You hear quite a bit about full stack DevOps aligned to products. You get rid of the matrix, you get rid of the silos altogether, and maybe you have something that looks like this, where you have full stack teams from security, development, ops, QA. Maybe you have a separate group which is focused maybe on some fundamental platforms, tools. Maybe you have a centers of excellence that help with process. This still kind of looks like a hierarchy though, right? You still have this person at the top called the CIO or the CTO, which brings us to a fourth model that we imagined, and we call this the adaptive organization. It is fundamentally not hierarchical. It is fundamentally adaptive. You see the CIO or the CTO role is kind of smushed down into the organization. Maybe they're still there in some way, but they're the vision dude. They're thinking about, well, what should we do? Providing big vision, but are they fundamentally higher up in the organization than anybody else? No. This is meant to be fundamentally adaptive. Even where you get into a product line model, you may still see some challenges adapting as a new opportunity comes in and people have gotten into their product silos, right? In some ways you may see some challenges where you start in vertical silos and now you just have horizontal silos. So maybe something like this can help address that. So we looked at some characteristics of DevOps, things that you want to see happen in DevOps, promoting short lead time, encouraging communication and collaboration, having the right kind of accountability, having a flat organization, being able to optimize the whole and not just optimize certain parts, having a structure that can organize itself and reconfigure itself, implementing risk mitigation and compliance, right? We want to go fast, but we also want to be compliant and secure. And can you fit into the organization? These are our thoughts, not necessarily right or wrong. It's interesting, though. It shows, when you start off in Model 1, there's a lot of red there. But even as you get sort of towards these more evolved models, some challenges may come up. Is this fitting with the rest of the organization? That may still be very traditional. How are you going to deal with risk and compliance when your deployments are going faster and faster? These are some of the things that we covered in our white paper, which is now available on the internet up there somewhere. And I think that's what I'll do to get you guys started. And Dominica, if you want to give some logistics, then we'll get going.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. Here's how it works. Everybody grab a pen and a Post-it and write down a topic that you want to discuss that is under the theme of organizational design. This is a themed Lean Coffee. So we're going to write about organizational design. Also, because you're sitting down at a table and your name badge is probably underneath the table and others can't see it, write your name on a Post-it and put that in front of you so that people know what your name is. We're going to run these topics through a very simple Kanban. So we want to have 3 Post-its on the table in a row. That the first one says to do. If somebody could write just to do on the Post-it, put it out on the table, and then write a second Post-it, which is titled discuss. And then the third Post-it is going to be done. To do, doing, done. The middle Post-it that's called discussed, write a 1 underneath it. This 1 is your WIP limit. This is saying that you can have one topic being discussed at a time. And these are going to be time boxed. So somebody needs to break out their phone and put their timer on. When these discussions kick off, you have 5 minutes to talk about your topic. But before we get there, before we go down that path, let me talk about how you're going to vote. How are we going to prioritize? Once you come up with all of your topics, just take another minute or 2 to do that. And then go around the table but wait till I say go first so people can hear me finish with the instructions. You're going to go around the table and you're just going to take about 30 seconds to describe your topic so that people know, they have some idea on what to vote. After people have gone around the table and you've described your topic, then everybody at the table gets 2 votes. Just put a circle, a dot on the Post-it. 2 votes total. You can vote for your own topic. You can vote 2 on one topic if you want, or distribute the 2 votes. Then we're going to prioritize these topics by whichever one got the most votes. It's a democratic process, if you will. The one with the most votes ends up in the discuss column, and then we say ready, set, go, and the clock goes off and you start talking. Now when the alarm goes off on your phone, after that 5 minutes is up, this is the important part, everybody pay attention. When that 5-minute alarm goes off, how you vote is you put your fist in the middle of the table and somebody says 1, 2, 3. On 3, if you want to continue this conversation, this topic, give a thumbs up vote. If you're ready to move on to the next topic, give a thumbs down. If you vote neutral, that's going to be considered a no vote, and we'll move on. So count how many people are at your table, and if the majority vote up, keep going for another 5 minutes. If the majority vote no, then move on. Then you pull that topic that wasn't discussed, pull it to the done column, and pull the next one in. This is a pull system. Very few rules. We do ask that you be respectful of the person who is speaking. Let's not interrupt each other, and let's allow other people. Let's allow everybody to have a voice. So with that, let's get started, and we're going to have some facilitators come around and float to help you get going for the tables who do not have facilitators. All right. All right, folks, it's time to wrap it up. We're going to do a quick closing here. So, if you could finish up your thought and give me your attention. How this ends, how we're going to end Lean Coffee here is with just a quick round of closing comments. So just go around the table and everybody has an opportunity to speak. A closing comment, 20 seconds or 30 seconds on this Lean Coffee. Your thoughts about this Lean Coffee. Go. All right, folks. We are done with this Lean Coffee session. There's some instructions up here on the screen. We would love for one person at each table to take a picture of your Post-its and send it to Jean at itrevolution.com. So can everybody at the table raise their hand who's going to take the picture and send the picture of the Post-its to the email that's on the screen? Can I see a show of hands? Who could be the picture taker? All right, in 10 minutes, we're going to start the one on security. So if you want to participate again with the topic of security, stick around.